everyone? Welcome to Sketch a Day Live. Um, Apologies for, I don't know if you can hear the background much or not. Probably not, but if you could, you'd hear my 3D printers going like crazy. I've been 3D printing nonstop for the last several days on both my Prusa i3 printers. It's been awesome. So yeah, hope you're doing well. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. Anyhow, I hope you're doing well. Check in, let me know you're watching. Welcome back to the stream. I know. Digital sketching guide. I've sold quite a few of these, and I appreciate your support. Those who've picked up the printed version. I'll go over this in a little bit, but just to kick things off, we'll warm up. I have no idea what I'm drawing today. Literally no idea. Came from the gym, took my kids to school, set up my 3D prints. And so I'm kind of depending on you, or it'll be the usual suspects, So let me know what you want to see. Anyhow, I had some friends and family request some of those block figures that I've done in the past. And so I have been doing those nonstop for a few days. I have no idea what we're drawing today. Those bastards. I don't even have all my gear ready, but here we are. I'm going to be going to purchase some wood with a friend in a little bit. All I have is coffee, good vibes, and all of you to rely on. I'll probably do some of my usual warm-ups, but definitely if you have something in mind, let me know. Happy to draw with you. And let's switch to our top camera there, and we're good to go. All right. Oh, by the way, if this is your first time, I'm Spencer. If you enjoy the show, or even if you don't enjoy the show, just leave a comment on the video. Not chat, comment. That totally helps. Hey, Don. What's up? Thanks for supporting. Applejacks, one of our channel members as well, if you want to support. Verstappen versus Lewis. I don't really want to do any anime or characters today. Just going to kind of focus on products. Although my son, he's adorable. He has this new friend at school who I guess is super into Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball Super. And so he wants me to draw a young Goku for his new little friend. So I'll probably do that this week. Anyhow, it's been fun 3D printing. My kids are cute. They're like, Dad, can you design XYZ? How to do isometric? Sure. And a BMW in bird eye view. Why BMW specifically? Am I doing your homework for you? Anyhow, as always, you can always ask me questions about life, the universe, career stuff. I see Applejacks is at work. Thanks for being sneaky and watching. And sincerely, thank you for the support. As this is kind of one of those shows that's wrapping up the end of the year, I'm going to talk a little bit about, I thought about doing this as a pre-recorded video. I might still do it, but just my transition from, working full-time to now being fully independent, what that's been like. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask along the way. But I'll probably talk a little bit about that. Maybe some parenting stuff. I just like to chat and draw. So hopefully you're here for that. Okay. Let's do some ellipses to warm up. All right, as a reminder, those who are patrons and channel members for as little as, I think it's $3 a month or $5 a month, you do get access to all the guides. So, I mean, I appreciate if you stay active as a supporter, but it's probably the easiest way to get the guides. But if you'd rather support in other ways, you can purchase on the website or Amazon. I'll show you that in a little bit. And as Snoop Dogg said, I'd like to thank me But me for the music. Just kidding. I did make this song. BMW design is weird these days, though. Really, really freaking weird. I'll just do a generic car. How about that? And then you can decide how you want to design it. Everyone always asks quick sketching tips for design exams. I have no idea. I'm not really familiar with the system in India. All I can really say is focus on the basics, start there. A good place to start is the videos I have on my website. I can't give you quick answers, if that makes sense. So that's not really possible for me to be like, here is everything you need to know, right? I can't really do that. So, but I'll just show you real quick. If you do go to my website, sketchaday.com, well, when you land on the website, I should say, you'll see all this stuff. You know, there's these 3 guides. They're kind of a good starting place if you want to draw with, say, pen and ink. Here, there's a couple demos and goes over some of the techniques related to drawing with high contrast, pen and ink. Right, it has 5 tutorials in it. Okay, it's only 30 pages long, so it's a quick read. This one is the marker guide, super cheap, $10. But it goes over markers, all you need to know. I mean, a reasonable amount of information you need to know. And then the digital guide ended up being 167 pages, so I kind of had to take a little bit more time. But good starting place. You can take a look at that stuff. I don't have a perspective guide, but I don't know if I can even announce this, but I am working on a project with a publisher this next year. So I'll give you more information on that, but that'll be something that covers a bit more of the basics, and I'm super excited. It's kind of the culmination of 10 years of hopes, dreams, aspirations, and all of that, so that's been really fun. But if you're just starting out, you can hit video list here. All right, I created this because it's kind of hard to find videos on YouTube for some reason. So there's a basic sketching playlist. There's information on how to lay out an industrial design sketch page, what are the different types of design sketchings, how to warm up, 2D to 3D, how to write like a designer, all this stuff, right? So if you're preparing for your exam, that's a great place to start. It is going to take time because they're videos you have to watch, right? But if you click on any one of these, so sketch page composition, for example, it'll throw you right into the video here, and you can kind of see me. This is a bit older, but you can kind of see me doing all of this stuff here, right? So that's a great place to start. That's what I would recommend. And yeah, good luck figuring it out. I have 3 hours for 8 sketches. Seems like a lot of time. So I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Excuse me. Hey, Tom. What's up? How is it going? Okay, and then, like I said, I also created a print version of the digital sketching guide. A few people were asking for it. This is one of the early copies. It has tons of typos in it, but I've since fixed that. So if you're looking for a reference and something that, you know, is tangible that you can hold and look through, you can find this on Amazon. Right now it's just through Amazon Digital Publishing. It's the easiest way to get it done. It is expensive because it is expensive to make one of these. So it's basically the print cost plus the cost of the PDF is what you're paying. So if you wanted to print the PDF yourself, you could do that, but at least with the Amazon publishing here, you do get all the prints, reasonable quality. It looks like laser printing is my guess here. But yeah, you can check that out at Amazon.com. Took me about 9 months to make this, so a lot of work went into that. But I appreciate the support for those who've picked it up. And again, it is free for patrons and channel members. Love seeing your shoe stuff, Tom, by the way. Let's see. With respect to life advice, what do you think are the best online entrepreneur platforms right now for anything with potential for the future? You know, that's an interesting question. I don't know if you're touching on the idea of NFTs or not. I can talk about those and my feelings on and all of that. But as far as being entrepreneurial, one of the things I've learned in the last 2 years So to answer your question, let me give you some context. I used to work for, and I'll just do some warm up cars to start, and then answer. Who was asking the question? Nick Hunch. Um, but so I used to work for a smart home company, and it was fun, while it lasted. But at the same time, like there are some downsides to working corporate, I think. And after a while it just kind of wore me a bit, and the relationship wasn't the best. It wasn't great, I will say. In the sense that how I ended up in the company was actually by way of acquisition. I don't think I've actually talked about this publicly on the channel. It was traumatizing, the whole corporate experience for me. I don't know if I'm built for it, honestly. It would have to be like the right, like really the right fit. Um, so anyhow, decided to move on. We mutually parted ways, shall we say, after um, I was creative director for a startup, and then ended up you know, being a part of the acquisition. And so spent about 6 years doing that. Learned a ton though, so that much I can say. I did learn a ton. But then my time came. It came time to move on, and so I did in 2019. So that's when I started streaming again. Now I've always kind of done sketch a day in the background. I still did my workshops. I still would teach from time to time and post. I wasn't as regular and present and available as I have been the last 2 years now. Just crazy to think. Um, and so, oh, thank you, Atashmari. Is it Atmashari? Sorry, I'm probably butchering your name, but thank you. Hey Tom F. It's been a minute. Yes, it has. So yeah, I quit my job. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I literally had no idea. Right. In fact, my boss at the time was like, "Hey, maybe you can stay on for a bit. Um, we'll give you some space to apply for other jobs." And I was like, "No, I'm just gonna go for it." And part of that honestly was, I was upset at the situation at the time, and I just wanted to go. Like I wanted nothing to do with him specifically, and so yeah, there's love lost there for sure. Um, but anyhow, I took about a month, and I would just go to a coffee shop. And this is answering your question, by the way, about entrepreneur platforms. I'm just giving you the context. So I would just go to a coffee shop every day, and I would just sit there and draw. And every now and then people would come up to me and be like, "Wow, you're really good. What is this?" And even that felt weird, because sometimes when you're in a corporate situation, depending on the situation you're in, you may not feel necessarily valued the way that others see you. And so it's always interesting when you get out, and um people that aren't the people you work with every day see your talent or your ability, and they're like, "Oh wow, you're actually really good at this thing you're doing," whatever it is. So did that for a while, and then that's when I initially had thought, okay, I'm gonna stream every day, and this is going to be my life. I'm gonna try and make money doing this, and it didn't work. I will say, I appreciate those who do support monthly, but it's not something I could say is like my career. As much as I wanted that at the time, there's just no way. So then I had to kind of rethink what I was doing, how I was doing things, and decide, okay, what is it? What is it you really want to do? And I kind of settled on, I took some time to even try and define what it is I do, because I don't feel like a traditional industrial designer. I do industrial design. I know how to do it. And I do it well, and I get paid to do it. Cool. But at the same time, feel like it's just a little bit limiting. So I kind of settled on, okay, I'm a creator and educator. Started an online school offsite. By the way, applications are open now. You should check it out if you haven't yet. It's a really great experience if you're. I'm not just saying that because I teach there, but we've been able to help a lot of people level up, get job placements and that kind of thing. So anyhow, did that and am doing that still, which has been awesome. I also love making things. Like I said, the 3D printers are just going right now in the background. I've got my CNC in my garage that I use from time to time. I'm ordering a laser cutter this year, so making is a part of what I do now. I still do online video for corporate clients and educational clients as well, doing workshops. Still do industrial design freelance. So to answer your question, what's the best online platform? That's just a little bit about me and what I'm doing now, and I can tell you about some of the things I've learned in this time, particularly as it relates to online platforms. So online platforms, they're not this is going to sound controversial. They're not really built to help you, right? They are built, oh hey Melanie, they are built to help themselves by exploiting you, like many businesses are, right? Not every business. I know some people love where they work and what they do. Yes, I'm salty about corporate life. I am. I'm not gonna pretend. But online platforms, social media, right? It's all about getting people to. We've seen some of the side effects, right, of how when you juxtapose people with differing opinions, some of the things that can happen as a result of that. When we amplify certain things, I'll just say that, depending on where you fall. I'm not going to get political. That's for my podcast. But yeah, it's been interesting. Just kind of navigating. These are really rough. I'm gonna do a better job. Keep warming up and talking. But it's been interesting navigating the whole social media thing, because like it is literally purpose built to get you to react, engage, to make and produce content in the hopes of making it big. But the reality is it's very, very hard, particularly for someone like me. I'm not gaming. I'm not doing all the popular things. I'm doing something very unpopular here, which is talking about drawing and my life and career, and doing it for free, a few times a week. So it's not so much that I see this as a career thing, or that there is, the monetary incentive to do it really. So I hope you understand that I'm not trying to, extract as much out of you as I can or anything like that. It's just not really possible with social media, because the things that, that's what I was saying. The things that play well, right? The things that get the views, the clicks, the hits aren't really drawing related. Okay. There are some successful drawing related channels out there for sure. But I would argue and contend that it's not the common thing, right? So what's the best platform and the best way to do it? I can't say specifically what the best platform is, spoiler, but I can say what the best approach I've found is. All right. And it might sound, I don't know, maybe idealistic of me to say this, but the best approach, if you're going to be online or do anything like this, is just be yourself. I've tried to not be myself. I've tried to do different things, and I always feel like I fall flat on my face when I do that. It's how do I say this? We live in an information rich age, People are used to seeing fake things, and if you try to be fake, you're just not gonna make it. Also, your motivations matter. Okay, that's one thing. One thing I learned, doing sketch a day when I quit my job. Part of, and I will admit, part of the motivation was okay. Like I said, this is going to be um, a career move for me or whatever, and I'm gonna make so much money doing this. And when you and that didn't last very long, by the way, full disclosure. I don't want you to think like that's my mo now or anything, but when you take that approach, you tend to lose sight of what really matters and why you're doing what you're doing. So I would say it's less platform specific and more has to do with like, okay, what are you actually providing or offering that's of value? And are you being yourself? What are your motivations? Okay. And can you stick to that? That those are the things I found that matter and work. And I guess you could call this a little bit of a retrospective show for Sketch a Day, but um doing it from the heart is probably the best thing. It sounds woo woo and maybe a little idealistic, but for me that's really what's worked. So hopefully that answers your question. I can't say specifically. I've heard good things about TikTok. I have an account. I just haven't done anything with it really. So at least not my sketching account. I have one where I talk about leaving my former religion and stuff, but um yeah, I would say TikTok seems to be the one that people are talking about the most now. And let's do something angular here. So TikTok, Instagram seems to be fading. They're trying really hard to stay relevant for sure. Facebook's kind of a zero sum. So for example, or not zero sum, but a lost cause. I have about 300,000 people following my Sketch a Day page. And I don't know, maybe the content sucks. Maybe that's the problem, but it feels like the only way to reach people on Facebook is to pay them. Right? So it's like, okay, I create all this content, I do all this stuff for you guys so that you actually have interesting things on your platform, and now you want me to pay people to like it's weird. So I don't like that about Facebook. Instagram's kind of the same way. YouTube for me has been good in a sense. Maybe we'll cover this wheel. Do something weird like that. YouTube's been good because they don't really do that as much. Discovery is kind of hard, figuring out the algorithm and so forth. But every now and then I kind of strike a good resonant tone, shall we say, and it just works. So I should have brought this all the way down. Something like that. It's kind of cool. It reminds me of the Chrysler Crossfire. That little changeover. All right, so I had a question about isometric drawing. Did you mean isometric or perspective? That was from Lewis. Hello, Ubuntu. What's up, Saman? Tomas. Hello. Yeah, let me know where you're watching. I love hearing, interesting places. I'm coming to you live from Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm going to keep this show a little tight, too. But like I said, this will be one of the few shows. Let's see, today's the 13th. I'll probably do, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 shows before the end of the year. At least two. Melanie says, as a human who is stuck in the corporate world, you definitely made the right call escaping it. Yeah, and I realize for me, like, I've been fortunate in a lot of ways, but believing in myself was a game changer for sure. And I don't know when that actually necessarily happened, but this is a weird vehicle. I don't know when that like click or switch happen. But I feel like one of the things I want to tell you all, if you're a young designer, if you're just starting out, and I say this one a lot, but the world is literally invested in your inadequacy or sense of inadequacy, right? And self-doubt. You think about marketing tactics, you think about, oh, if you buy this thing or if you do this thing, you're going to be, I'm just going to black out the front of the car here. Just want to do like something like this. You're going to be, oh yeah, and I'm taking suggestions. I was supposed to do a top-down view. Hey, Mystery, what's up? What's up, Rosen? The world is invested in your shortcomings, the gap in how you think of yourself. And if you can beat that, you'll become a force, right? If you realize that the relationship you have with your employer or with others is oftentimes flipped, at least that's how it was for me anyways, that you're doing them a favor. You're doing your employer a favor by giving of your talents, giving of your time, your ideas, all of it. Like, that's just real talk. So if you can realize that, like, a lot will change for you. Again, it sounds like one of those, like, maybe woo-woo aspirational things, like, sorry, not to dump on The Secret if you are one of those people. There's a funny, I know some people hate Dave Chappelle, but I love this clip here. Let's see. I won't watch it on the stream, obviously, but I will copy the link. You can watch it on your own time. But he talks about The Secret and kind of makes fun of it. So check that out on your own time. But I'm not saying it's like, totally wishful thinking or whatever. Like, you can literally, if you change the way you think about yourself, open doors for yourself, right? I didn't realize the value in what I was doing until I was willing to take a risk and, stick to pricing or stick to, just believe in myself. I've been fortunate, I should say, to have friends who've challenged me to rise above and to just be like, yeah, I am gonna do this. Yeah, my stuff is worth, XYZ. Tom says, currently trying to learn Gravity Sketch. Got invited to a shoe design workshop in Gravity Sketch. Oh, that's awesome. The CEO of Gravity Sketch reached out to me. I haven't totally followed up with him. He must be busy or something. So, okay. All right, let's see. Let me think here. Okay. I'm going to do the demo for who was it? It was Nikunj. Let's do the top-down car. So yeah, the imposter syndrome is real. It's a real thing. It's something I've struggled with, even as recently as, a few years ago, like I said. And it's something that a lot of us struggle with and probably will struggle with. Okay, so I'm just doing a few boxes here, and you'll see why in just a sec. These are really rough. All right, so let's do some architecture style lines here just to make it a little easy. Okay, so I've got 3 boxes, and these 3 boxes I'm going to use to sketch my car. So slight angle, wedge forward here. Let's do a little cab. All right, we'll come down in front, do something like this. And I'm just kind of eyeballing the proportion here, but we may change things as we go. So overall, the car kind of has a wedge shape to it. All right, got 1 wheel here, and then 1, 2, 3, and then our front wheel. All right. So again, I'll do the top view, but you're gonna have to do your own design. All right. So if I think about a car, usually something like this. Okay. Here's my headlight, front clip, whatever. So then going over to my side view, okay, I'm gonna have the top. And then as far as the width of the vehicle, I'm going to shoot for 1, 2, about 3 wheels wide. All right, so this might be my first wheel here, and then my second wheel here. Now I can just translate these lines over like so. All right, notice there's a slant to the front of the car, and you'll kind of have to interpret, right, what your body side looks like as you draw this. But I'm going to do something just kind of simple. This is actually easy to do in Procreate, where you can set up symmetry and just draw both sides. Makes it a little bit easier. Isometric. In my A level, we're told to draw isometric drawings, and I find it difficult to make them look realistic. So you're talking more about technical drawing, less sketching, right? I actually took I didn't take A level technical drawing. I took O level technical drawing in high school. I loved it. Loved doing technical drawing. So I'll see if I can remember some stuff. This coffee is delicious, by the way. Delicious to the taste. All right. So I'll swing that down, and then let's just throw in some sort of headlight. The front of this car feels a little bit thin, but I'm going to go with it, right? Let's see. Let's put a little grill in. If it's a BMW, the grills would be like this, right? Big old kidney beans, because BMW is insane right now. Their design language, it's just really, really weird. All right. So maybe the front of the car looks something like that. And then the body side and cab, you can do something like that. Just throw some mirrors in. All right, so now what do we do with the front of the car? Well, the reason I drew this line, this is roughly a 45-degree angle. If you do technical drawing, you'll do stuff like this. This is called an orthographic setup. It is sketchy, it's rough, but hopefully the point comes across. So now I can basically translate all of these things over, right? So this should roughly be half, right? Because I'm going down to this 45-degree line and then over, so I should have half and half. I can draw my center line, okay? Again, this is really easy to do digitally if you're doing this kind of thing, because you can just set up your symmetry and then it'll mirror whatever you do. I can also, from the top view, come down and say, okay, my wheels are here, which means I'm going to have some wheel flares at these points, right? I also know where this car is a little bit cab forward, so I'm gonna pull my windshield back a little bit. So I know where my windshield starts, right around here, and it's probably gonna end right over the back wheel, okay? I can also measure, if I want, from the wheel flare, right? So I can come down. Here's where my wheel should be. Okay, I totally messed that up, but let's just pretend. Let's pretend. All right, so I'm gonna have something like that for my angle. Yeah, this should be a little bit wider, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit. But effectively, what you end up with is some shape like this. Right, and then we're gonna wrap that around the back like so. And for the overall shape of the car, it depends on how your body side lines are and stuff. A simple curve like this is usually enough, and then the front of the car is gonna have a slight peak to it. All right, something like that. So your hood lines are gonna look something like that. If you have hood lines, you know, think about your lights and how far back they wrap, for example. Bring that in. If you have a grill detail, you can bring that down and over and show that in your top view. Okay, and then if you have, right, if you have a roof, or maybe you have a moon roof type detail you want to bring in, you can bring that in as well. All right, there's our A pillars. And then back of our vehicle, slightly creased, something like that. We can bring those lines over. If you have taillights, you can bring that in. All right, so kind of like that, very rough sketch. But that's how I would figure it out is if you do have some design, think about the three views and then project all that information over. And then you can draw your design in 3D if you want to get technical about it too. You can draw a little frame here. So yeah, those are just some of the things I've kind of learned in this journey, if you will. I don't love drawing car like this because it tends to be a little bit static and weird. Little bit static and weird. All right. In fact, I'll just do this as an underlay because see this line is straight, but I really need more of a nice curve, and this housing would be a little bit bigger here. So it just gets a little bit static. So I always end up changing it anyways. Yes, I'm drawing with a pen. Not a lot of forgiveness with drawing with a pen, but I like it, especially if I'm rusty, which I am right now. It just forces me to be a little bit more thoughtful. And I'll do an overlay here as well, just to clean this up. All right, let's bring this through. And we had those big grills in the front because it is a BMW, right? Redonkulous. So yeah, I'll fix the cab in the overlay here. Maybe cheat a little bit as well on the front. All right, so I got a rough sketch. Now I can rotate my paper slightly and then do a little bit more freehand. So yeah, keep the questions coming. Appreciate the thought-provoking prompts. If you have anything specific you want me to sketch, let me know as well. Maybe I'll do a backpack next. I haven't done one of those in a while. The NFT thing is fascinating to me. As I've studied the technology and tried to engage with those who are really into it, I'm finding that there's a lot of condescension with those who are proponents of the technology. In other words, it's really hard to talk to them without them saying effectively, "Oh, you just don't understand the technology. Your age is showing. Come on, bro. Got to get in at the ground level." And I'm like, okay, this doesn't make much sense to me. I know I appreciate what the technology does, but as far as art goes, it really doesn't make much sense. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. Maybe. You know, I need to look at a BMW hood just to make sure. BMW front end. Just to make sure I get the curves a little bit right here in perspective. Okay, so we got a little bit more curve. So this is what I mean. Like you can take your sketch and then, you know, because the perspective's been figured out for the most part, you can now come in. I just love clipped A-pillars. You know, whether they black them out or whatever, I just clipped A-pillars, extended greenhouses. I just love those. The other thing you can do if you do these is flip your sketch over. I know you can't see too well through this. I can see a lot better than you probably can see. But it's a good way for you to check your perspective. My perspective's okay on this one. So if you're drawing a car or something that, you know, has a perspective similar to this, just a good way to kind of keep things in check. So just a little tip for you there. And obviously, if I were doing this for a client, I would take way more time and care. But you know me, I like going quick and loose sketch. So yeah, I'm not particularly a fan of the new giant grill thing that they're doing, especially on the, is it XM? Is that what it's called? The new electric whatever concept that they had going. Not particularly a fan of that one. It'd be cool if this pillar had the mirror on it too. Somehow. Could be cameras or whatever. So I'd probably redo this sketch one more time if I were actually doing this for a client or whoever. Probably extend this out just a little bit. I always do that. I always go a little bit too short on my hood. So it takes a couple goes for me to get it the way I want. Yeah, this is Sketch Day Live. Thanks for joining. And then the hood, I kind of want to bring that up a little bit as well. Something more like that. Yeah, that feels better. But yeah, I'd want to, so right from this point, kind of extend this out. A lot easier to do digitally. Actually, this would be a good one to maybe do digitally. I'm trying to think if I want to do it on the show here today or not. But I'll make a note of it. All right. Hey, Kamesh. What's up? What's up? A lot of successful NFTs are auto-generated, like the same base with different components. Yeah, that's been interesting too. I just Genesis, I'll get to your question in a minute. I just don't see. Okay. It's a commoditization of value. But I also recognize that it is the future. So there's something to be said about the hard things in life, you know, and something, it's like before, I mean, I've been doing this for, I don't know. I should try and do a, next time I'm going to try and do a 60 frame per second stream and see how that goes. See if you guys like that. Sorry, side thought. But when things were really hard, before social media, before Instagram, you had to make a blog or you had to make a website. Cool. And I get that there was a lot of friction there. You had to learn a lot of things. Hey, Matt. Glad to hear it helped. So you had to put a lot of effort into making something. You know, I'm just gonna keep drawing cars. It's kind of fun. You had to put a lot of effort into making a website or getting some presence online, right? It wasn't as simple as, hey, I've got a phone and I can just do something and I can all of a sudden, you know, just be broadcasting whatever I want. Now there are some nice things about having it be easier now, But I think there's also something to be said about when it was a bit harder. Okay. Where was I going with this? Let's see. Oh, NFTs. So if the NFTs are auto generated, then it almost, and if, because a lot of life, and something I've learned as a designer, is a lot of life is really, um, it's really about stories, in the sense that, a dollar is a dollar because we all believe it's a dollar. And an NFT is valuable because enough people believe it's valuable. Does it have intrinsic value? I don't think so. So there's something to be said about narrative and story in our perception of value. And then if the process can be automated, which is effectively what you're saying, then it certainly makes it um it makes it accessible enough that there's no longer that filter of, hey, I know this is going to be a time intensive thing, so I need to make sure that it's actually good. I hope that makes sense. So, and I think potentially with design, we're going to run into this problem as AI becomes a bigger part of our process. And I think it should be a part of our process, but there's also, I think, the need for, um, critics, or being critical, or gatekeepers, if you will, some standard of good, right? It's not, good is not necessarily, I mean, it can be, but it's not necessarily, um, this feels like some sort of Honda, like a futuristic Honda, or um, Ford, or something like that. Anyhow, good is not necessarily, okay, how fast can I pump out some stuff, right? It's a lot more than that. So I think that's where potentially there are some problems, in that if something's too easy, there's a proliferation of not good. And but if there's enough value, like, there's like intrinsic good, certainly, but then there's like narrative good. And I think a lot of this NFT art stuff, it has a lot of narrative, quote unquote, good, but it's not like actual tasteful art, if that makes sense. So that's my take on it. I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, you should, obviously not these sketches, but you should do some NFT stuff, bro." And I'm like, I don't know, man. I really don't know right now how I feel about it. So I'm just gonna be chill. Gonna be chill. Not worry about it right now. See, now I'm starting to feel warm with cars again. It takes you going through. It's funny, like with sketching, it takes you going through a few things sometimes, and then you can like get back to it. Um, let's see. Yeah, YouTube is another one where, before YouTube, you had to have significant amount of capital, significant amount of hardware. I mean, the quality is certainly improved, and production value of a lot of the things you see on YouTube, but it is really easy to put, like, we all have the potential. It's interesting. I did a research project at my first job. Maybe I'll share that sometime. I think I could share it. But I did a research project for a project I was doing with Kodak, and one of the things I discovered, or insights, was that, one day, this is like pre before the iPhones you have now existed, right? But one of the insights was that everyone in the future is going to have effectively the ability to broadcast and be their own, like, TV station. And at the time it sounded like ludicrous to me. But now that's literally the reality we live in, right? Like YouTube, you have in your pocket you have an entire TV studio. At least what used to be, technically speaking, the the tools and equipment and ability to literally broadcast anything you want to whoever you want. It's really fascinating and really interesting. As as the eponymous quote from Spider-Man goes, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So um, it's really been interesting to see how we've kind of come to this place now. Stu, you know what car I miss? Remember those Mercedes that used to kind of just be like just so beautiful, these like lovely curves. I miss those. I feel like things are going way more angular now though. I'm gonna have to get the hang of doing this style. Anyhow, so yeah, with great power effectively comes great responsibility, that's for sure. Okay, this is two cab forward, so I'm gonna pull this back. Sometimes when you're used to sketching a certain vehicle or certain type, this sketch is so busted. I'm gonna try and save it though. But sometimes when you're used to sketching a certain body type or style, it can take you a little minute to readjust. I'll just say that. Okay, that feels a little bit better already. So Sketch Today Live, thanks for joining. What if the entire front was just a grill, like all of it, and the light was just built in? Just like all grill, even if it's electric. I'm sure someone's done a concept car like this before, but I haven't like seen one. If I had $1 for every time someone talked to me about NFTs, I'd have enough to invest in NFTs. Yeah, it's been interesting. Your age is showing, bro. Like, can we just have a normal conversation? Like I tried, it was about 2 weeks ago now. I tried having a conversation with a friend of mine who's like really into NFTs. He's super talented, cool. He actually does good looking stuff, and he had a good point. You know that it's not like every piece of music is good. There's a certain level of production value, I would argue, though, that the music that bubbles to the top, and the ratio or proportion of what is considered to be good and what is considered to be, um, you know, award worthy or worthy of consideration seems to be higher than it is with this whole NFT thing. To me, anyways. A lot of stuff just feels hurried, doesn't really feel crafted or masterful in any way. And that feels really weird to me. So, let's see. What should be an essential part of being an industrial designer? What's the secret sauce? I would say curiosity, being prolific, being a hard worker. Do I think there's a death of details of craftsmanship? Yes. Yes. A lot of people are getting lazy. I get lazy sometimes. But I try to maintain craftsmanship for sure. Late 90s Z28. I don't remember those. That's a Nissan, right? Or Z280? Z28? Oh yeah. That one almost looks like a Porsche. Let's sketch something like that. What's up, Jordan? Good to see you as well. Let's see how long I've been going here. Yeah, I gotta wrap up soon. Got a date to pick up some wood. Yeah, you don't really get a lot of curvy these days. I think it's gonna make a comeback though. I really do. I think eventually we'll see stuff like this coming back. I love when you watch like sci-fi movies and they make an effort or point to have cars like this in it that are, perhaps fixed up or modded or whatever to feel like they're from the future. Sorry I haven't been around as much, by the way, guys. I've been a little bit busy. Okay, so lessons I learned in my journey from the corporate world to being independent. You have to do it for love. What you won't do for love. You tried everything. Tupac was right. So you have to kind of like figure out for yourself, okay, what do I love? Or what do I love about what I'm doing? And how do I lean into that more? And when you find that secret sauce, things will happen. Right? Like I said, it sounds a little bit maybe woo-woo or like, oh, Spencer, you already just have it figured out. And it's like, oh, I didn't. I would have panic attacks. Actually, it was pretty predictable. It was like every Tuesday I would have a panic attack. What am I doing? Because, okay, so the other thing is I'm going to do an overlay of this one because I really like it. The gesture anyways. But let's do another one here. I was like, okay, you left your job. What are you doing? Are you crazy? I have 2 kids. I have them full time. And, they depend on me. So I can't just like make some random move and be like, okay, I'm gonna go live in, as much as I want to. I've told Svetlana and Art this before. As much as I'd want to like just go to Russia and live there or do something. Not because I'm communist or anything. Don't get me wrong. I just have a fascination with the culture and country. But I can't just do that, So I'd have these panic attacks, and as I was kind of figuring myself out and just trying a lot of things and seeing what works, just realized that it really just boils down to love, right? You got to find what you love, do what you love, be what you love, like all of it, And honestly, I don't know how 2022 is going to be for me. I don't have like jobs lined up for days or anything like that. I appreciate those who've reached out from time to time, whether you're a fan of the show or are like, hey, I know this designer, he can do this or that. I appreciate that, but I don't know. I don't ever know. It's kind of just go with the flow. This is a weird car. It's like a combination of this old one and some new gestures, but I'm gonna keep going with it. Thanks for the suggestion, Jordan. Hello, Oyawole. Hello, or Oyawole. French sub here. Thank you. Remember, leave a comment on the video if you like it, if you hate it, if you want to call me a racial slur, whatever you want to do. Just leave a comment on the video. Man, I've been called some nasty things on YouTube. I tell you what, it used to bother me, but thankfully they've cleaned up on YouTube, the comment system. Can you explain or elaborate on how you think AI should be involved in the design process? I think AI should be involved in the design process as much as apps and an iPad are involved in the design process. They're not an instant solution to problems, right? But they are going to accelerate how we communicate. Think of it that way. And as a designer, one of the things that's really cool, as you kind of move and level up in your career, is you'll start to design and manage thought at some point, okay, and less managing process. And that's a cool thing. And I think AI is going to be, at least working with AI, is going to be an exercise in managing this one looks funny. It's going to be an exercise in managing creative output, not so much in saying, okay, I dumped this into the AI for 5 seconds and now I have an answer, we're done. At some point we may get there, right? In as much as, think of it like with the automobile, the advent of the automobile, or as some people are saying now, with NFTs, bro. You okay? This is salvageable. I feel like this one is salvageable. Kind of looks like a Nissan Rogue, a little bit. Maybe we have some creased glass here. But as you look at the advent of the automobile, right? Some people were probably like, "No, man, it's all about that horse life." Hashtag horse life. But it's not a matter of, okay, how do I say this? It's not a matter of cars are intrinsically bad. It's that they get us to places faster. So AI is going to get us to places faster. And that's exciting. It's exciting to think, okay, I can amplify my creativity by using this tool, in as much as my ability to visually communicate. I can sketch on paper. It's not the same as, obviously, when I sketch digitally. And you've seen me do that on the show here. Yeah, I think I can salvage this one. Anyhow, it's not it's not a matter of I'm never sketching on anything but paper. It's stupid. It's okay, how do I use what I know? Maybe improve my accuracy with my ellipses. I still try to practice ellipses. As you know, I don't like to use tools, but if I need to get that perfect ellipse for my client's sketch, I can do it. I have a tool, I have something that'll help me get there. So that's really interesting, and I think AI is going to be similar in that regard, where we will have the tools, the ability to work and move a lot quicker, but it doesn't mean that AI is going to replace us or whatever, right? I keep drawing these cabs way too forward. Makes them look more cute than sassy. All right, I need to make sure my friend's not texting me. Let's see. Yeah, my friend is here. So I'm going to wrap up in a minute. Then I'm going on my woodworking date. Okay. It's a mandate. Nothing that interesting happening. Have I made NFTs? No. I don't have any intention to either. I mean, I could, but I don't really have any intention to. The other thing that's troublesome or bothersome to me about the NFT thing is it feels like a get rich quick thing, where okay, yes, I get that it empowers artists in a sense because of smart contracts and the promise of all that, but I cannot shake the feeling that a lot of what is created is an effort to just get rich quick instead of doing good stuff. I have sketches, I can show you guys some that I've done here, that I could turn into NFTs. All right, so this is my this is my design entity, if you will. I don't know if you guys knew about this, but 5050.design, you can always check it out. Got a little shop here and stuff, but I'll show you a series that I created. So it's these shoe prints. I could color these up or just turn them into NFTs if I wanted to, sure, but I don't want to. This is a tribute for Michael Jordan I did. So a series of these like sketches, doodles, and this is just a few of them, not all of them. I do sell them at trade shows and craft shows locally here, but I don't really have a desire to do that. I really don't. So maybe I'm just stubborn and I like to do things the hard way, but that's just me. But if it's your jam, no worries. I get it. Okay, I want to do this one with marker real quick, and then we'll wrap the show. My buddy's cool waiting a minute, so. Let's do some maca. You guys like markers, right? And I can fix a few things. This one's for Mr. Null. And I just want to say thanks to Jordan and Lines for, holding it down. I know life gets busy for all of us. I've certainly been feeling it, but they've been consistently supportive and helpful, always. So much appreciated. Okay, this. And that's just, I don't show all my sketches I've done. Like, I have a series of illustrations I've done that, no one's seen before, that I could also turn into NFTs, but I'm just not interested. So now if someone wanted to buy them for, $15,000, then they wanted to NFTize them, sure, go for it. But I'm personally not interested in the NFT thing. Thanks for hanging with me and indulging me as I kick off some Rust here. Some car sketches. Much appreciated. Thanks again to all of you for your support this year, throughout the years, and hopefully beyond. Here's to a good 2022. At least I hope it's good for all of us. We'll see, I guess. We'll see what it brings, right? If we'll have another nightmare year, or totally messed up there, but don't think about it. What do I think about the metaverse? Nothing beats reality, I think. Okay, so I love VR. VR is cool, whatever. I'm actually gonna scan this in before I render it up. So what do I think about the metaverse? VR is cool, but if you've ever tried VR and then you okay, let's make sure I'm on the right thing here. Okay, cool. You put those headphones, or not the headphones, that visor on, and where can you find the music we're listening to on the stream? These I'm going to make available to patrons. These are songs that I've made myself and another friend of mine. But they'll be available to patrons, so that'll be another perk coming next year. And then to answer your question, and Shimon, ID does need to be real. I mean, ultimately you're designing things for people, so they need to be feasible, viable, and desirable. That's the short answer. So the metaverse, I find the idea somewhat problematic because of the, shall we say, feeling that comes when you remove those goggles, that VR headset. It's just something I've observed in myself that like come down. It's almost like coming off something that's potentially addictive. I'll just say that. And my scanner did that thing again. I might have to get a new scanner or figure out some way to clean it up. I just think there's going to be some serious mental health implications, is what I'm saying. So I think we should be careful and mindful of those potential downsides. I'm trying to decide on a color. I think I'm gonna do purples. I'm not ballsy and bold enough to try what's his name? Danny's method just yet. So maybe I will though. I could do some of that. Let's go for it. Why not? If I mess up, we'll all learn together, right? If I mess up. Okay, so to do this, I need to have like a base color, I think. I think I'll do yellow. Where'd my yellows go, though? This is weird. Oh, there they are. It's like, this is weird. And let's go back to the top camera. Apologies. That work? Okay. Vask Tech. So yeah, this will just be a quick sketch here. My 3D printer is also wrapped up doing what it's doing, so hopefully I don't embarrass myself doing this. Okay, so basically any upward facing surface here, I'm gonna create a nice little reflection. Or anything that's downward facing, sorry. Create a nice little reflection on. Gonna have to use some, oh shoot, made a mistake there. Gonna have to use some browns as well. Man, I am sore. Worked out really hard yesterday. I'm using marker paper here. By the way, this isn't regular paper, so if you're gonna do markers, again, check out my marker guide. It's a great way for you to kind of get started if you are wanting to use markers. I totally messed up there, but we won't talk about or worry about that right now. Grew up with the inception of the internet, and now we're doing VR. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think what's even more interesting, I don't know if you've seen these, but the whole Unreal demos that are happening. So with like filmmaking and stuff, that's the Unreal graphics engine, by the way. That's what I'm talking about. So I don't know if you've seen those, but those are impressive too. For sure. Check those out. Really trippy stuff. I was watching a clip and I could barely tell. Okay, N3, 5, 7. I know one of these 7s is dead. I want to get a 9. Oh, yeah. 9 and 10. But I was watching this demo and I could barely tell what was real. How do you define real? You know, the whole Matrix thing. I don't know if Melanie's still watching, but Kevin is the friend I'm hanging out with today. So just FYI. Anyhow, VR is interesting now, but it's gonna get trippy when we have better computing power. I think there is going to come a day, you can quote me on this, where it's going to be basically impossible to tell reality from simulation, or at least our brains will not be able to do it on our own, and that's going to be, it's going to be really interesting to see. Maybe terrifying is the right word, but it is going to be interesting. I'm just using neutral gray instead of cool gray on this guy. Epic Games on LSD. I can't confirm or deny knowing what you're talking about. Alright, so I'll use some more darks here in just a minute. So basically, you just kind of have to think about your lighting scheme. You know, if there's light coming from this side, but there's also reflected light, what that's going to look like. If this is a grill, that kind of stuff. Figure that out as you go. I'm definitely not being as careful as I should be here. You know, kind of just blocking in these rims, for example. Guess I could make less rim visible. Alright, I'm going to close out with my favorite track of the ones I've made. Not this one. See if I can finish my sketch by the time it plays through. Probably not. It's only 2 minutes and 41 seconds long. But yeah, those Unreal graphics demos are just wild. Absolutely wild. This is my lazy car interior. Super lazy. Super, super lazy. I'm just adding some contrast here, guys. So just trying to move a little quicker. Cause my buddy, like I said, my friend's outside my house, waiting right now. I was like, I'm just gonna wrap up this stream. So appreciate you hanging out, being patient with me here. So basically, if I had like a background color that was here, that would take the place of the whites in the scene. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, and then I'll just continue to add contrast in some of these reflections. Just little touches like that. So yeah, hyper realistic VR is definitely going to be a thing. I don't know how soon we'll get there. I hope it takes some time to get there. I don't want that to be a thing anytime soon. I also have a 3D print I need to change out. Just stylizing the front clip here. What was that? That was 5? Okay. So yeah, just stylizing the front clip a little bit. Because I don't really have a design figured out or picked out. Just kind of fudging it. Welcome to Sketch a Car Daily. I promise I won't do a car next time. I promise. I go through phases. I do them quite a bit. Just making sure he's good. Okay, he's cool. It's cool. All right. So now I'll just kind of beef things up with my lines here where I need to. Again, it's just a quick, hasty, lazy marker sketch. At least that's how I would describe it. As a car design intern, we would spend like hours on a car sketch. So for me, this is enough. Quick to the point. Like I haven't even used any white pen on this sketch. None of that. So yeah, probably something like that. There's a lot more that could be touched up, or accentuated. So yeah, pretty quick here, but hopefully scratches your itch. All right, I gotta bounce. I went 30 minutes over. Whoa, aren't we focusing, camera? Focus. Sorry, it's totally out of focus there. It's weird. Okay, so there it is in focus. So I'd probably scan this in and like tweak some stuff in perspective if I were gonna like, further enhance this digitally or anything, clean up some of these reflections, but it is what it is for now. All right, thanks for watching. NYC everything. You just caught me as I was leaving. I got some errands to run. So thanks for watching. As I always say, love you all. Appreciate the support. Thanks to the patrons and channel members for your continued support. It means a lot. Certainly, like I said at the beginning, it's not the end all be all, the entirety of my career, but I do appreciate the fact that you believe in me and believe in all of this and love hanging out and helping each other. So thank you. Keep it up. If you want to get better at sketching, as I always say, besides practice makes perfect, or better, take some time to... Why is this not working? I don't see an end stream button. This is weird. I'm gonna have to reload. Take some time to, sit with someone, explain how to draw, and that's gonna help you and force you to kind of break down what you know in a way that actually makes you better. All right. So consider that. Remember, passion is the process and love is the reason. I'm going to add that. Passion is the process. Love is the reason. All right. Take care. Have a happy Monday. And I'll see you later this week. I'm not sure when, but it'll happen right here on Sketch Day. Peace out.